Good evening, Counter-Strike enjoyers. Well, Copenhagen Major stickers could drop any day now. Unfortunately, it wasn't today. And I actually just finished wrapping up a stream where we discussed how we might want to approach these brand new Copenhagen stickers. I realised some people aren't fully well aware that in the moment when the stickers appear, you're not going to think straight. And that potentially will be a problem when you're wanting to do very good buy orders. So what should you do to prepare yourself? Well, of course, you want to make sure that you've got all your links nice and readily prepared. But there's another thing that you can do to help yourself out. Figure out the prices you want to offer for the stickers beforehand. But hedge, we don't know what they look like. Fair enough, but they're only going to be one of two things, either borderless or bordered. And if you can, you might be able to look into the past, look at these teams and their previous stickers, and look at how those stickers behaved over time during the short term whilst the tournament was played, and the long term, long after the tournament, after the 75% discount. So consider watching this video, because we're going to go showcase all of that off to you now. But I just want to quickly go over some quick details to help you make sure that you're definitely prepared for such a thing. So before we showcase the video from my stream, how to engage these stickers, I should just quickly point out to you, to understand a lot better in regards to what a short-term and a long-term buy order is, please consider watching this video. This is basically the exact same thing that you're going to learn about, but it was for Paris, right? Paris 2023 a year ago. I do further explain the idea of a short-term and a long-term buy order, but I'm pretty sure my brief explanation was fully understandable. But consider giving this a watch as well and see how things played out. See how we approached these, and then go look at the prices afterwards, and then you can see if everything did lead to success. So I'll put that in the description of this video that you're currently watching right now. Secondly, are you actually prepared in terms of the amount of money you might have in your account? So if I just quickly go over to here, as you can see, this account has £1,692, fairly close to about $2,000, which should be the absolute maximum allowed Steam wallet that you're allowed to have on a Steam account. Now, I have a lot of buy orders as well. So please take this in consideration. Whilst you might have a lot of money, if you have a ton of buy orders as well, it does add up, and this becomes a bit of a problem, and I'll explain. So in brief, you have to understand that based on the amount of money you have, you can do up to 10 times the amount. So in theory, I can do £16,920 worth of buy orders. But with all of my buy orders here, the total buy order amount, add that up, which I can explain to you right here, it's 15,116. I have to figure out a sum of 16,920 take away 15,116. This right here, 1,804, that is the amount of money I can work with, all right? There's a big difference between the amount of money you have, the amount of money potentially you could use, and the actual amount that you can actually work with. So because I already have a ton of buy orders, this happens, all right? So just remember, it's all of this that's already been added up, and then you can figure out what you can actually work with. Sounds good? If you want to understand that a little bit better, I do have a video right over here. It is my buy orders and making profit video. It's very useful. Watch buy order bottlenecks. It's a good 7-minute sequence, but it'll explain things much better, and you'll properly understand. Being prepared for that is going to help you out a lot. Otherwise, if you try and make a buy order, in the instance that you do it and you already have a ton of buy orders, it'll sit there and say, oh, can't do any more, you haven't got enough funds, or you might need to go remove some buy orders and whatnot. You want to avoid that. You want to avoid that. So please consider watching this, and specifically Chapter 5, buy order bottlenecks. And most importantly, make sure you are in the SteamDB Discord. This will ping you. It will mention a DPR, and that will very likely indicate that the stickers are about to come. Of course, you also want to make sure that you're actually following, the Counter-Strike Twitter as well. That's going to be super useful, isn't it? So keep an eye out. They will tease stickers. If I just scroll down over to here, you'll see something as simple as this, and that will be like the announcement. Wow, look at that. Brand new stickers. You best go get yourself ready. And of course, you better have everything prepared with the likes of a session buddy, which of course is back over to here with all of that on display. With a quick double click, I can just quickly bring all of these up, and just like that, I've got all of my body and my buy orders nice and prepared. Bodies? What kind of video is this? So in short, I hope this brief explanation for preparedness is helpful. For now, we're now going to specifically look at the likes of engaging stickers, figuring out what prices we might want to offer, whether we want to engage in a short term or consider chasing things later on in the long term. All right, and with that, let's skip ahead and let's discuss just that. Number one, gentlemen, have you got your links readily prepared? Do you know what your stickers are that you want to prioritize? Have you put them in an order that you want to focus? Now, you might base that purely on previous stickers that have come out in the past. So that's what we're going to basically work with. So with how I've set mine up, let's go over to here. With how I've set mine up, I've actually got it set where I'm leaning more towards the likes of the Cloud9. The Cloud9 Holo is going to probably be fairly expensive. I know for a fact that when we had Imperial Esports borderless stickers, they were fairly expensive, nice, bright and green. Just consider this. Guncrafts. People are going to be looking at these logos and they're going to try and make some pretty interesting guncrafts, especially with what we had recently with the update, okay? So just take that all into consideration. But of course, when the actual stickers release, they are going to have some interesting appearances. Not all stickers are going to instantly look like that. They're going to have some sort of special sheen to them, especially, of course, with the likes of holos. And, of course, golds might not look super great. We don't know until we see it, but we can still refer back to previous gold stickers and get a good idea of what we might want to offer. Because, of course, the previous stickers that come out from previous majors have had a lot of history that we can learn from. So let's jump in. Let's actually attack. So, number 1, Cloud9. Cloud9. So I'm going to go look at the previous Cloud9 stickers. And my intent... I should have done holo. My intent is to identify both a potential border and borderless sticker. So most recently, of course, with the likes of Cloud9, we had Antwerp 2022. And then we also had Rio. So we got 2 very good examples right here to compare to. So right now, this is currently selling for $27. At its peak, this was selling for about $50, if I recall. Actually, no, it's even higher. Yeah, it was about $60. Okay, so that was $60, but that was during like the likes of the beta announcement for CS2. So maybe that's not realistic enough. But then again, you know, after it did go back up in price. So let's say around $50 was its peak. Very nice to see, but of course, over the past several months, it's gone down in price because Counter-Strike wasn't exactly doing super great. Plus, it's going down now because people know the Cloud9 stickers are going to be coming out soon, brand new ones, and they might be borderless. So keep this in mind. Don't be upset to see prices going down recently because, of course, people are anticipating stickers that are going to probably look exactly like that. There's a very decent chance that happens because, don't forget, that was a PGL tournament. Guess what we got for... Guess who's hosting Copenhagen? PGL. They also hosted Stockholm. So there's a fairly decent chance we're going to have 3 batches of stickers from the same tournament organisers that are all borderless. They all look very similar to each other. And it very likely could happen. So anyway, let's look at its first few weeks and then let's look at its history afterwards. So during the first few weeks when the tournament took place, it was initially selling for about $10 to $14, right? If you're considering doing a short-term higher price buy order, right, you want to look at the first few weeks. But what happened was as they got kicked out of the tournament, they lost. So they instantly went down in price. That's not nice to look at. I would sit here and say the average would probably be around here. That's $9. So if I were to see a brand new borderless Cloud9 sticker, right, holo, and I want to do a short-term buy order, I would probably do at least $5. And I'm not joking, but you've got to keep an eye on these buy orders, right? The main intention is that you want to be able to buy it around $5 in hopes of being able to sell it for a lot more. And I can't help but assume Cloud9 holos would look just as good as a borderless sticker for Copenhagen. So get a good assessment of the time period. Now, initially, it was very high, but then it does go down afterwards. And keep this in mind. Keep an eye on the tournament. Keep track of the matches. Because if you've made an investment towards a team sticker and the team gets knocked out, their value probably might drop pretty hard. All right? Does that make sense to all of you? You've got to keep an eye on the teams. You've got to see how that works. Short-term buy orders are fairly risky, but the reward can be very nice. But you do have to put a lot more effort into double-checking and making sure everything works out quite all right. Sounds good? Okay. The long-term buy order, however, this one's going to be a bit funny because, of course, as you can see, there was a lot of interest that grew over time. But initially, this is how low it went. This went all the way down to about $4 at one point. But afterwards, of course, you know, with the likes of the CS2 beta, it suddenly gained a lot of interest. So what happened? Well, what actually happened was they failed to qualify for the Paris Major. See, they made it to Antwerp. They made it to Rio, but they failed to qualify for Paris 2023. So that's also a reason why it went up in price very nicely. But if we were to see even more borderless stickers being introduced for Copenhagen, that's definitely going to cause this to go back down in price. Keep this all in mind, alright? So, in short-term buy order, $5 seems to be a reasonable spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Cloud9. Borderless. I could just refer to it as BL. BL and B. And the price I'm doing for that, let's just zoom out a fair bit. I'd go between, for my currency, 3 to 5 short and long. I would do, based on what I saw here, for a long-term buy order, my first buy order, I'm going to do £2.50. I think that'll be right. He says, but I do believe that'll be its lowest point. And later on down the line, that'll work out quite alright. And then I'm going to do bordered. I think I'm just going to put it down, just so I don't confuse myself in a minute. Borderless. Less. So borderless. Here we are. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to look at Rio. Now, let me just point this out. Rio, its design wasn't exactly super well favoured. Let's put it that way. But you never know. If we do get bordered stickers and they actually look good, things would probably be a little bit different. But regardless, let's go see how Rio stickers behaved. So right now, this is currently selling for $5.50. Very nice. How was its history? Well, as we can see, it's been a bit funny. Now, as you can see right there, do you see this spike in price? Remember when I said to you, this most likely rose up in price very nicely because of them failing to qualify for the tournament, the Paris Major? Well, that's actually a point where that happened. They failed to qualify and their stickers shot up in value, but then afterwards the hype died down and it went back down again. But we don't care about that. We're here to look at the short terms. This tournament took place over the course of October time, and as you can see initially, this was selling for, on average, I would sit here and say about $7 to $8. All right. So this Cloud9 bordered sticker sold an average during the first few weeks $7 to $8. Right. So if we want to try and chase after that with a decent buy order price, we'll probably want to do up to about $3.50. Maybe $4. If you want to do $4, fine. But yeah, for me that would be about £3. Huh. That's a bit funny. We're quite a lot lower compared to that. But short would be £3. So maybe I'll just do 4. Yeah. Long term. Right. So after the tournament, what happened? Well, after the tournament, this went as low as about $3. Yep. So it did go lower than the borderless one. Let's keep that in mind. It did go up a fair bit, maybe because it was around Christmas time. So timing of the year or so is a bit of an influence. Right now, it's currently gone down a fair bit, but it's still better than its lowest point right here. So looking at that one more time, it's not a bad sticker, but there could be worse. So looking at the state of that, seeing its lowest point, I think my long-term buy order will be $2. So yeah, that's what I'll do. So $2. $2 long-term, $4 short-term. That's what I'm going to do. So what I did there is I looked at 2 previous stickers that this Cloud9 team has had, borderless and bordered. I saw how they behaved over time, and I took that into consideration. Does that make sense to all of you? So by looking at how they behaved, looking at where they ended up at, I could see a point which was their lowest. And of course, with the short term, it was mostly about the average of sales. So I've figured out a price which is a fair bit lower from those points, where if I were to buy them, I could still sell them and get my money back, or potentially make a good profit. That's what you're aiming for. You're trying to find that sweet spot. So I know this format's a bit silly, especially with how I've portrayed it here on a fucking notepad, but I'm sure you can understand. So if I were to go over to here now, let's just skip ahead. Oops, didn't mean to go do it that way. What I want to do now is showcase to you autograph stickers. Let's go to an autograph sticker. So we have a bit of a problem with the likes of Donk. Donk has never had stickers before. We don't have anything to refer to. So I will sit here and say, yes. Sorry, but that's all I can say. But we can look at Zywu, who walking into this tournament was definitely... for Paris, he was walking into the tournament with a lot of high hopes and, you know, Vitality 1, so that's nice. But yeah, Zywu, let's go take a look at you. Zywu Holos, let's get started. So, of course, we had Antwerp and we have Rio. And we're now going to go ahead, see their history, and we're going to go... Actually, no, we could do Paris. Paris would be better. Paris is more recent. Paris is more likely a better example. Because if we were to see yet another borderless style version, then... Well, it's not borderless, is it? But let's just roll with this. Let's just roll with this. All right. So right now it's currently sitting for $6.50. And it's actually been going up in price quite recently. But let's just focus what we just said before. We're going to look at the short term, figure out an average price, and then from there we'll figure out what prices we might want to offer. So, let's go. So initially, in the tournament, this was selling for about almost just under $30. Then Zoe really popped off, and then he ended up winning the tournament, and his price... So, initially, I think this is the best example to go with here, the lowest point here. This was selling for about at least $25. So my answer to you is for a brand new Zywu Holo sticker, you might want to offer around $15. No, I'm not joking. Try and get some if you can. But yeah, it will be desirable. Now, at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, listen, if we do get another sticker exactly like that, maybe it won't be going as high, because we quite literally have something like this already, and as I just showed you, the likes of these other Zywu stickers, they are very similar to each other. Stockholm stands out quite nicely, to be honest. I will point that out. That looks nice. But with what we have here and with what we have here, Antwerp, they are very similar. So if we get a Copenhagen sticker that looks even more similar, across the board, all three of these, including the Copenhagen, would probably have a lower ceiling, if you know what I mean, as in they won't go as high. So just take that into consideration. Just wanted to also point that out to you. So $15, but remember, please remember, it's risky for a short-term buy order, all right? Whilst you could potentially buy these and flip them for a much higher price, if you don't keep track of the tournament and keep track of your buy orders, you could lose quite a lot of money. So it's risky, but the reward is ever so pleasant and lovely. So considering Citizen Stickers scared they ruin it. Greggs, I'm way ahead of you. I've already sold a bunch of stuff just in case. I got a little bit scared myself. I did. I own up to it, chat. I was a little bit scared as well. So, Zywu Holos, just from what we could see there, I honestly think the lowest point is about there, and then you got the sale going on in here. So yeah, I think $15 would probably be a reasonable bet. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to type in Zywu... Zywu Holo. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm going to just copy this, because it's easier. Okay, so Zywu Holo, borderless. Maybe I should do it more like that. Here we go. Borderless, short term. For me, £10. Long term, let's go figure it out now. Long term, so after the tournament's finished and whatnot, get a look at how stagnant it's been for a very long time. Look at the state of this. So recently, it reached a low point, but the initial low point was about $8, but the most recent low point was like $5. The most recent low point was just under $5. So, I get the feeling I could chase after these with a long-term buy order. That's $4. All right, $4. That seems to be the case. Maybe I could offer a little bit more. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe. But, maybe I'll do 3.3. So that's around $4. So I will repeat myself. We're chasing after the potential lowest point, all right? Because after that, in theory, it can't get any lower. And that's the lowest point that it was. And recently it has risen up in price a fair bit. So we'll see how that potentially turns out. Now let's move on to boarded. So over to boarded, we have the likes of Rio. And this Rio sticker right here, this Holo, is currently selling for just slightly under $6. All right. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. All right. Show liquidity. No, I don't need that. Right. So I know this is a lot of talking, and I'm very sorry, but the more you listen in and understand everything, the better prepared you will be tomorrow. You're probably just copying my prices. Damn you. Right, anyway. So, initially, during the tournament, throughout all of October, or towards the end of October at the very least, I think it ended like at the beginning of November. Yeah, Zoe stickers are selling very nicely, weren't they? Very, very nicely. So this is a little bit awkward. This is more expensive. This is way more expensive compared to what we had with the likes of the Paris. And Paris was afterwards. So I'm going to be honest with you, just because I don't fully trust it, I'm going to do £10 again, or $15. £10 isn't exactly $15, but I get the feeling half the reason why it's so high initially was because I don't know. Just to be safe, I'm only going to do 10. Maybe it would be a little bit too low. I'd rather not suffer than suffer. I might miss out on some potential buy orders, okay, but at least I don't suffer. Suffering's bad because you lose money. And then, of course, during the tournament, with the likes of Vitality winning the Paris Major, his sticker went up even higher. So its actual lowest point is like literally just over here. It could be a mix of what the price is now and the price of what this was when the 75% discount came out. But from what I can see here, it's about $4. And what it is right here, well, scroll up. The actual sales, yeah, they're $5. $4 to $5 is its low point, I reckon, on average. So, what price is Hedge going to offer? Well, that means I'm probably going to offer £3. Yeah. But there's a problem, right? Zywoo's very popular. And this is where I bring up that I only really chase after the players that are popular. And because he had such a good streak of playing, loads of people wanted to get his stickers, put them on their guns and whatnot. So, if you are chasing after a player and they don't win as much and whatnot, don't assume that everything's going to be super safe. But it is quite surprising to see that it's pretty much exactly the same pretty much here. So, lessons been learned. I'm not sure if everything's going to be the same. Now, I could probably do glitters as well and whatnot, but yeah, we'll probably put that aside for now. Right, let's go grab a gold sticker, gold team sticker. Let's go do one of those. So, Zawoo, it was very nice to take a look at what you have there, but, well, I'm going to put you away for now. Team Golds. Let's go take a look at, you know what, I want to look at Furia. Furia's probably a good shout. Furia Esports, yes. Right. I'm going to go put this over here, just so it doesn't accidentally get lost in there. Furia, gold. Alright, we've got Rio, and we have Paris. Perfecto. So this is borderless, stands out very nicely. Furia, fairly well-liked team. Sticker's doing okay, nothing wrong there. So now we're going to go ahead real quickly and just do exactly the same thing in regards to what we did with the likes of the Holo stickers and whatnot. So, during the first few weeks, how did this perform? It drops down pretty hard very quickly. Remember, it's a great time to open sticker capsules during the first night, but the values of stickers drop down very hard. So the main point I'm trying to get across is, whilst the capsules would cost $1 each, the values of the stickers will still be fairly high, and you won't lose so much money. So it's a great time to open them and after that, it's no longer good to open them. You have to wait until the 75% discount takes place for it to become viable and profitable again to open capsules. So, yeah, take that into consideration if you can. Right, looking at the state of this, it gets down very quick all the way down to around here, and it cools off. So I do believe its average sale price seems to be about $9. So the average sale price during the tournament was $9. So, with what we have there as the average, if it's $9 as the average, so here I go with the likes of Furia, Gold. Okay, so $9 was the average, but for me that would be £7. Maybe I'll do £5. There you go, £5 short-term buy order. Totally fine. Just remember, you want to do your long-term buy order first, and that's what we're going to find out right now. So Furia currently right now is selling for just under $5. What was its lowest point though? Here we go, because, well, if you don't remember, the 75% discount for Paris lasted 3 months. It went on for 100 days. And the lowest point was actually something that happened very recently. $4 was its lowest point, right here. That actually coincides quite literally with the absolute worst time for Counter-Strike 2, when it was all the way down here with its player count. Look at this. Yeah, lowest point there, the end of January. And the price, the very low price, actually coincides with that. But recently, it's basically doubled with what with the Major about to kick off, so lots of people hyped up. So let's go back over to here. Let's go over, take a look at this. $4 seems to be its lowest point. I'm not sure if we're going to see that much of a drop in value of a lot of stickers in the future here now, because a lot of people were very down bad with the likes of Counter-Strike. It wasn't until we got the update in early February where everybody kind of bounced back and felt a little bit reinvigorated. Yes, it still has problems, understandable. Not all the content from CSGO is perfectly transitioned over yet, but give it some time. Eventually we'll have a reasonably perfect game. Reasonably. Anyway, price right there, $4. For me, £2.50, which was actually the price we had just a second ago. Yep. So, funny that. Alright, now let's go ahead and look at a boarded. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the parallels of boarded gold sticker bad is as much, you know, compared to likes when we look at the holos. Because the holos, they're supposed to be nice and colourful. When it's gold, it's gold. It's gold. Right? So as long as it's gold, it's fine. And I don't think we see that much of a drop-off with the likes of boarded stickers. So looking at this current sticker right here, what do we see? Well, $8. It's better. It's doing better than the other one, isn't it? Thank you very much, Mr. Micro. Okay, so again, same thing. First few weeks, what do we see? Figure out the average price during the likes of the tournament. So this kicked off at about $15. Actually went up in price, then it went down. Most likely due to the fact that Furia were the homegrown talent, the home team for Rio. They are Brazilian. But yeah, on average, this went for about $13, $15. Okay, that's nice. And then as we see over to here, in the long term, only recently has it reached a new low sale. So that's about $6. See, the thing is, though, is are we going to see something like this ever happen again? Because, again, there's an extra special thing about this. They were the home team. Everyone was hyped up for them. They got kind of far, but they didn't really get that far, and things were a bit awkward. The Brazilian tournament was awkward overall. Maybe we shouldn't actually look at the Rio one. Maybe we could look for a different one. Do we have another board? No, we don't. This is all we have. I mean, you could look at Freer Gold for the RMR. So, I guess this is the best we can do. Judging by how the Paris one behaved, I think I want to incorporate that. I think we could probably just say pretty much nearly the same thing. Golds just aren't really that badly affected when it's boarded. I think I'll just do 5 again. And of course, I'll keep in mind how bad things potentially could get. And in regards to the most recent sales, which are the new lowest, over to here. Low point, $6. Let's just quickly confirm that. So recently it's bounced back up a fair bit. For me, it's gone up by £1. but for most people across the board, just to understand their currencies and whatnot, let's go with about $7 was the cheapest it's been. So, looking at the state of that, $7. Well, that means I'll probably do £3. Yep, which is fairly close to $2.50 again. It's awkward because I get the feeling Fury of Gold Paris was cheaper because it came out after Rio. The more gold, not the merrier. It's the opposite of merrier. The more options we have, the less valuable all the previous ones become because, yeah, there's different options to choose from. So that's just a bit of a ramble in itself. But potentially, maybe regardless of what it is, I'd just stick with doing prices like that. So about $6-7-ish and about $3-3.50. Yeah, I don't think you'd probably be too upset by that, but I had to look and see myself to be able to understand and get to this point. So I think that we got a reasonable amount of variety there. I've shown you a holo sticker for a team, a gold sticker for a team, and of course, Zywoo. Now, you got to go do this all yourself for all of those other stickers. Yes, you do. Yep. And if you are chasing after a lot of stickers, well, best get moving. You might be very lucky because it does not look like the stickers are coming out tonight. As someone mentioned earlier, clocks did change in America recently. So in theory, this is already 1 o'clock in the morning for me. And that was actually the threshold, basically, for me, saying that I don't think we'll be seeing stickers come out after 1 o'clock. It's highly doubtful for me, based on what I've seen with past experience with previous major releases. So, yeah, everybody ready for the Paris cap to go to the moon? Only if we see bordered stickers. And even then, look, listen, noise. If we have some good-looking bordered stickers, and maybe not even that, it doesn't even matter, to be honest, I will sit here and say, regardless, you're going to see prices drop down a fair bit. Because it's still new content to chase after. Even Rio saw this. Even Rio. Not everybody was super pleased about Rio, but it still worked out okay-ish in the end. Not as much purchases compared to the previous one, which was Antwerp 2022, but overall we still saw the likes of a bit of a drop in price for the cases across the board. Skins went down a little bit, but that's because, people are liquidating assets to get funds so they can put towards the new shiny thing. And after a while, the new shiny thing suddenly isn't new and shiny anymore, and then, well, it loses value. Hence why, with a lot of the stickers that we just saw there, as time went on, of course, after 75% discount and whatnot, it gradually goes down. But, eventually things do turn around and they go up. But with so many purchases and openings of sticker capsules from now on, it's going to take a lot longer for the likes of these stickers to get anywhere higher in price. Gone are the days where only several thousand sales for the capsules happen. Nowadays, we get several million. Lots of money gets generated.